Hi there, it's Nicole for Honeybee Stamps, and today I've got a Build-A-Bee card. This is a shaped card that is shaped like a hive, which is this incredible new die collection from Honeybee Stamps. And it's the Hive card plus the panel that goes on the front, and then you can add the little doorway if you want to, which I think makes it so super fun and interactive. I'm going to show you how I inked up the card itself to really give it some texture and dimension. I did die cut both the card base and the panel, as well as that little die cut opening doorway there in the panel using the dies, and this is all die cut from some Sunflower Lawn Fawn cardstock. I decided to start with colorful cardstock for my card today. It's just going to build on the color. So I'm just going to take some Wild Honey Distress ink and go around all of the edges of the beehive here with the ink to give them a little bit of texture, a little bit of color. It's going to just richen the whole look. This is great, but I really want those kind of curved lines to give it more of the beehive look. And in order to do that, I'm going to find a rounded edge die. I actually used one from Pretty Pink Posh, I think, here, and I die cut some masking paper with it. And I'm going to use it as a mask to just kind of gently mask off each of these little rounded sections on the side and ink them up with Gathered Twigs Distress ink first, and then blend that out with the Wild Honey Distress ink. This is going to give it a really great texture, lots of dimension, and really add interest to the card base. The mask is great because it limits the amount of ink that gets applied to each section. Plus, it really gives that definition to each section. I really want the Gathered Twigs to be fairly light, with the Wild Honey being the more prominent color there, with the great sunflower base below. So up there in the top left corner, you can see what the base of the cardstock started out as, and then with the inking, how awesome the beehive looks with all that texture. This panel will go on top of the shaped card base, but I don't want that just plain yellow base. So I'm going to do the same thing to the front of the card. I don't actually have to go all the way across if I don't want to, simply because a lot of it's going to be hidden back behind. I did just because I was inking and not really thinking about it a whole lot, but if you wanted to, you could just do the edges just to give that little bit of dimension. You can see my mask is getting really inky, but it worked for the entire card project. It did start to lose its stickiness a little bit, but it worked just fine. Go ahead and ink these last little sections all the way up to the top and blend it out with Wild Honey. So there's the base, there is the top layer with the cute little doors. I am going to take a pencil and just lightly mark where that doorway is, and then I'm going to mask off just a little bit along the bottom edge and take the Gathered Twigs Distress ink and ink that section up really good, nice and dark, so that when the doors open, you see a nice dark kind of area inside. I did stamp the greeting from the Beautiful Sentiments on the front and inside the card. I missed videotaping that, so I do apologize. I just slightly rounded the greeting and stamped it along one of those curved edges on the front, and then finished the greeting on the inside of the card. Now I'm going to take two Build-A-Bee images from the Build-A-Bee stamp set. There are lots of incredible bee images, faces, and little accessories and things in the Build-A-Bee set, and you can build your own bees with whatever expression you want for them. I think that's fun, or just different ways to position the bees, because there's the individual bee pieces as well as these full bees that I'm using here. I am using the Misty so I can stamp the images one on top of another, and then I'm going to pick out the faces that I want to use. So I've got a couple here, and I'm just going to line those up so I can stamp those both at the same time. I love the little faces. I think they add so much character to the bees, and it's so much fun to be able to mix and match and put the expression that you want on the bee's face. Now I did stamp these twice as well because I want the eyes to be nice and dark. I'm going to color in the images with some Copic markers using Y15 and Y19 for the bees. I originally tried to pull in a little Y35, but I really feel like that got blended out. It's very similar to the Y19, and I ended up not using it for the rest of the bee images in this card. A little R20 for the cheeks, and then for the gray sections on the bee, I'm using W8 and W6 to build up that black color, and again Y15 and 19 for the yellow stripes. So I'm doing all of the bee's face and body first, and then I will move on to the bee's wings, which I want to have a little bit of an iridescent look, almost like you can see through them, have them be fairly light. To do this, I'm going to use some blue-violet colors in BV0000, BV00, and 01. If they get too dark at any time or don't blend out very well, I like to take a Copic colorless blender and kind of push some of that ink around, which I'm doing here, especially near the top of those wings. And then take the Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen to add some glitter to those wings when I'm all finished. For the tongue sticking out, or the little mouth here, I used R24 and R29. And then of course I'm going to use the same colors as I used before to color in this other large bumblebee. I started with just these two large bees from the Build-A-Bee stamp set, but I will be incorporating some of the freebies, stamps, and dies as well. This is a great little set of stamps and dies that is free with $75 purchases from Honeybee Stamps. There is a date that they're available through. I will have that posted on my blog, but I think that's such a great offer, such a fun little kind of gift with purchase type thing. Again, the Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen over the wings. I'll grab the coordinating dies and die cut my two large bees. This is at the point where I'm going to kind of double check and see if my card is coming together the way I want it to look. So I've got one little bee peeking out from the doorway, one up above. I'll take a black glaze pen and go over the antenna on my bees to really darken that up. Then take a white glaze pen and add detail to the cheeks on my bumblebees. I did add a little R20 to the cheeks, but I'm going to go in with my white glaze pen and add some little dots as well. And this is where I'm deciding what else I need for my card. So first I'm going to put some foam adhesive on the back of this top panel. It's really going to help pop it up, give it a tiny bit of dimension. Only one layer of my foam tape here. And I want to make sure I get it covered pretty good so it's nice and flat against the shaped card base. I think this also gives some nice stability to the card design. Trim that up. I'm just trying to find the best way to piece together all this foam adhesive so it fits nicely. I think I even need a little piece for that other door, but I'll grab it in a minute. One of the sides of the door isn't actually going to open here for this card. I'll peel off all the backing paper and then I'm going to pop that right to my beehive card base. Just want to center it right there. And then I can attach my two large bumblebees. I'll use some glue dots to attach both of these. The one I'm going to attach right here, kind of coming out of the doorway. I'm trying to figure out the best way to attach him. Sometimes I fiddle with them a little bit trying to figure it out. Make sure he's nice and secure, popping out of the little door there. Nice little interactive element. Go ahead and grab my other bumblebee, and I'm going to pop him up above the buzzing by to say hi stamped greeting. And there are two of my cute little bumblebees. I'll take a little glossy accents and add that to the eyes so that can go ahead and start drying while I work on the rest of the components for the card. I've got some of the Great Honey Jar sequins, also from this release. Beautiful sequins that I'm going to attach throughout the beehive design to add some fun interest and texture. I'm using a combination of Zot's Bling glue dots and glossy accents to attach the sequins, just depending on the size and kind of where they go. The smaller sequins really have to have some sort of a liquid glue. They're just so teeny tiny. The larger sequins generally will work with a bling glue dot. So I'll start with a scattering of these. You can see over to the right of the screen, I've got a bunch of teeny tiny little bumblebees, and these are the freebies, the little free stamp sets that you can get with a $75 purchase. And I stamped 4 of the 6 designs, and I'm going to color them in with the same colors of copic markers that I used for the large bumblebees. These are going to be like supporting elements for the card. The only difference is I don't need to color in the black stripes on these, just the yellows, and then the blue violets for the wings to give them a little bit of that iridescent look. Very fast coloring here. Then I'm going to grab the coordinating dies, line those up, and die cut all 4 of these little bumblebees. Then I'm going to attach 3 of those to the front of the card. Again, taking the Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen to the wings, some black glaze pen for the eyes. I have 1 little bumblebee left. I'm going to attach him to the inside of the card next to the stamped hello. I think that brings a lot of the elements going on the front of the card to the inside of the design. I'm going to take the little bee buzzing trail from the Build-A-Bee stamp set and stamp that kind of behind several of the little bees, 2 of them on the front. I'll also do the one on the inside. Again, that just adds movement to the design, and that will finish up my card design. Thanks for joining me today for this shaped beehive card featuring honeybee stamps, and dies. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more videos that you might be interested in. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.